Hello everyone. Normally this is where we do the previously on and recap the last episode of the season, but we're starting things off a bit differently this time. Previously, in a different timeline, Avayath and Shui had just fled after rescuing Flynn from the Apogrim, the foreign versions of their companions running from the battleground as well. The Asmer and half-elf appear in the Prime Capital, Avayath discovering himself to be a prince, with King Larkspur as his adoptive father, and Chewie being worshipped as the god Ibishu. They both were absorbed into their lives, forgetting who they once were, and have now been living as royalty and deity for the past week. Let's see what transpired before they were rescued by Arthur and Brandy, while they were lost in their alternative lives.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go. On we'll go.
Wolf and Theo have been running for days and have had barely any time to rest in that time span. It has been about a week since their last encounter with Prince Avayath and the god Ibishu, and they've been pursued the entire time, with very, very little time to find any moment of peace. And they've managed at this point to find some solitude within the mountains, which was their goal initially. And the men that the king sent after you both have more difficulty maneuvering around the caves that constantly seem to change. You are currently catching your breath and preparing to rest for the evening, Theo's poison aura giving off a slight light that's difficult to ignore in the darkness.
Theo's spark also goes out when he's asleep.
Yes.
I imagine he's probably preparing himself to sleep soon.
Wolf is moving forward. He's very, very tired right now. Just continually moving through the caverns and keeping an eye out, trying to make sure that they've lost the guards as best as he can. Obviously, he doesn't know for sure, but he just keeps moving forward through these caves.
Seems like we might have given them the slip finally, at least for a little bit.
I hope so. I'm really tired.
Yeah, me too.
Even lifting my legs is exhausting.
I agree. I'm fucking exhausted at this point.
Isn't there anywhere maybe we could stay and rest a while?
I'm not sure. That's a question. We just gotta keep moving and hope to God that we find somewhere we can relax. If you want, you can turn your spark off and get some sleep. I'll carry you, and we can, hopefully we'll be fine. I still got some juice in me.
I don't know. Turning it off. I mean, I can't. I just am afraid of waking up to something. Not being ready.
That's fair. If you just want to head to sleep, then eventually it'll go out. So, if you want to try and get some rest, and I'll just, I can deal with it. And hopefully it'll keep us moving until I think we've found somewhere quiet for a bit.
Normally I would say that, I don't want to leave you alone to walk, but considering there's always the possibility that I can hurt you. It kind of sounds like a good plan.
That'll be alright. I'm a hardy guy. I'll be fine.
Why don't you make a roll, Brandy?
I'll be alright. Oh, not alright.
12. Whee!
Oh, you do have advantage, though, Brandy.
Oh, I do. If I take half damage if I fail and no damage if I succeed. And I succeeded.
There you go.
Because that's a 25. Whee! This Brandy's got a good con modifier. I don't like this Brandy's modifier.
It's because of his boyfriend. He had to have a good con modifier.
Yeah.
Theo looks up at Wolf and sees that he really is doing fine. Yeah, if me sleeping will give a rest to your immune system, I guess. Though you do seem to be doing well.
Yeah, I'm gonna be alright. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, if we can find somewhere for me to fall asleep, I guess.
We're gonna be alright.
And as you try and look within the caves to find a place to rest your head for the evening, Theo.
Uh-oh.
Theo, you get a voice in your head.
No.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. This is the poisoned apple, isn't it?
I'll say he was like nodding off, and then that comes in his head, and he just goes.
What's wrong?
Theo looks around.
Wolf summons a sword.
I would say you can roll a history check real fast, Theo.
18.
Okay, I would say with that, you definitely recognize that voice because you heard it a week ago. You fought against it a week ago, and are surprised that man is still alive, given the state that you saw him in last time. And you also recognize that this is a spell that you've probably had cast on you once or twice before, which is sending. So you know you can reply.
After he's like looking around in shock, and then he realizes, wait, that was definitely sending from a voice that I thought was probably dead. He says to Wolf before he replies, "No, I think it was a sending spell in my head. It startled me. 1 second. How are you alive? Are you alright?"
Thank you for your concern. I am doing just fine. Glad that you remember me.
I didn't want to do that to you. I'm sorry.
Water under the bridge. I'm sure you're pretty tired being chased like this, though, aren't you?
He looks at Wolf with like a grim look, as like this isn't looking very well right now in his little sending spell stuff. Are you suggesting that you're going to stop?
Would you like all this to stop?
I would like a lot of things to stop. I don't want to be like this.
The king is prepared to allow you to remain off the grid during your time as a fallen one, if you agree to a deal.
He looks up at Wolf before he replies, and he says, "Do you remember that small group who was trying to get us when you had to, summon him?"
Yeah. Are they contacting you?
Yeah, he's offering me a deal. If I make some sort of deal with him, then we can live without running out here where I can't hurt anyone. But I don't know what he's offering yet, what I have to do.
Sounds fishy.
It does, but we can't live like this forever.
Yeah.
I'll respond now.
See what he wants.
Yeah. What is it that we have to do then?
We require you to obtain an object for the kingdom. Do that, and you're free men.
He looks at Wolf. He wants us to get something for the kingdom. He didn't say what it was, but naturally I'm suspicious, but we're free if we do it.
Ask him what it is.
Okay. What is it that we need to get?
A sword. known as the Olive Thorn. Only a chosen one can remove the curse that's been placed upon it.
What is the curse?
Any use of the object drains the life force currently of the user.
How do I remove that?
Legend says that all you have to do is touch it. And you don't have to use it.
He looks at Wolf. They want us to get a sword. A cursed sword.
I see.
He says, as a chosen one, I can remove the curse of the sword itself, sapping away whoever uses it, their life force. And he says I don't have to use it, I just have to touch it.
What was that sword called?
They called it the Olive Thorn.
I mean, if it's true, it's probably the best offer we're gonna get.
It might just be my weary mind overlooking the clear red flags, but if this could allow us to rest, maybe even be happy, I think I want to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we can keep doing this for very much longer.
Yeah. I'm gonna accept, okay?
Alright.
Okay. If this deal includes both myself and Wolf, then I accept.
We'll have our people teleport to your location, which we know, in 24 hours. So play nice, or it'll just be another fight.
If they don't fight me or Wolf, then it'll be alright.
You don't get a reply back.
He waits a moment, and then he sighs and looks back up at Wolf. Okay, they know our location, and they're going to send people tomorrow. Teleporting, by the way, so could be rather sudden.
Gotcha.
I guess we should stay here then.
I suppose.
I know, it doesn't feel good, but I just want to rest, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
And it seems like we could both rest at this point.
Yeah.
He holds his arms out for him.
We'll go over to Theo.
And sit together.
Alright, and you guys go to sleep for the evening. And we switch over to Shui. Our Shui. So, Shui, you are in that black expanse that kind of absorbed you in before. You felt like you were entirely asleep just moments ago. You have no concept that a full week has passed. For you, you were fighting, you came back, you looked into the water, and then you were gone. And now you are back. And when you return, you hear the soft sound of, it sounds like a child crying in the darkness.
He doesn't see anything, does he?
Roll a perception check.
8.
You can kind of hear that it's coming from, like, off in the distance. You can't see anything, like, with your eyes, though. You can just kind of pinpoint that it's coming from, like, forward, like if you kept moving forward.
He's gonna keep moving forward, then. Yaya? Yaya, are you around?
And as you call out, that crying actually stops, just completely. And you feel like a shadow kind of come over you from behind. And you hear,
"You're still here."
He jumps and turns around.
And you see the form of what you had seen in the television screen that Abaddon had shown you before. Someone a little bit taller than you with kind of like light blue skin, very long, untied hair, and horns, red horns and a tail coming out of his back.
Who are you? Who are you? What are you doing in here?
I thought you were gone, but you're still buzzing around.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
You brought that cheap invitation with you too, it seems.
And you see, like, as he says that, he's, like, looking down, and when you look down, you see reflected in the water below you the form of a very large sea serpent that seems to be sleeping.
He just like takes some steps away because it's like, what is this big serpent below me? Is it kind of like his like reflection? Does it follow him kind of like as he steps back?
Yes, it does. It seems to follow you as you move.
Whoa. Is that real? What is that?
I was hoping you could tell me whatever the hell you are. When you first showed up, I thought there were only 2 of you. But now there's that crying.
That... It wasn't you crying?
No. So it didn't come with you.
What? I'm just... Last I remember, I just looked in the water and then it was dark. Where am I?
In my head, unfortunately. I don't know where you came from.
I came from Varun. With Yaya.
He looks at you like you're stupid. So, like that's of course where you are. Like. And as during your conversation, you can hear kind of very softly that crying starts to come back again and like surround the both of you. And it doesn't seem to be coming from any direction this time. Why don't you roll another perception check?
Okay. 18.
You see him kind of like shake his head almost like he's trying to rub off that sound. And you can see as he does that, it's almost like the water ripples below him. And for an instant, you see the form of what looks to be a child hunched over. That looks very similar to how you looked as a child. That quickly vanishes a moment later after he's done shaking his head.
Oh, it's under...
Under, like, his reflection.
Yeah, okay. I think that crying's coming from you.
I want you to make it stop.
Me? How would I do that?
Make it stop. You brought it here.
No, but it's under your... It's... Yeah, he's just kind of stuttering because he doesn't really know. I don't know how to make it stop. Just cover your ears.
I can't think with it in the back of my mind all the time.
And you see as he's talking, almost like this electric spark kind of coming around him.
Oh. If I help you, will you let me out of here? I need to get back to Yaya.
If you don't know how to turn it off, then there's no point in this conversation. Go back to sleep.
And when he says that, you feel like the water beneath you kind of start to rise up. And you can see as that is happening, your reflection with the sea serpent also seems to stir as it looks around confused. And you just hear like this roar, rumble, kind of muffled by the water beneath you, as it just rises up and just slowly pulls you under.
Wait, no, stop, wait. I can't go back to sleep. What are you doing?
Just go away.
No!
Not my boy.
And you find yourself waking up. You are currently standing in front of the altar that you had been in before a week prior, and you feel the touch of someone kind of tapping on your shoulder. Ibishu.
He turns towards the voice.
You see Alia, the current queen, who has a bottle of, or not a bottle, she has a bowl of water in one hand, and she's just like, I was coming to switch out the altar water. Are you okay? I've been calling your name for a few minutes now.
Why did you touch me?
I'm sorry you weren't responding.
Don't do that again.
Right, apologies. And she just like, small smile and like nods as she takes a step back. The king has a request if you are willing to hear him out for another mission. I know you just went on one, and we're very grateful for that.
He tisks. My services don't come free.
I know. When has he ever refused something that you've asked for?
Does this have something to do with that poisoned apple?
Unfortunately, yes. But hopefully the last time.
He looks at her for a bit. I wasn't quite myself when I encountered them a week ago.
Flynn told me that you had some sort of injury. Having mortal bodies is unfortunate.
Does he want me to kill them?
Eventually, possibly. Some steps in between.
I'll go see the king.
You'll be talking to Flynn, actually.
He stares at her again, and he's like, that invalid?
The king isn't here right now. He gave orders, though.
How many times has he interacted with the king?
A couple. He usually is not around. I would say at least, like, probably once a month, but not frequently.
Strange for a king to be so rarely in his kingdom.
He's a busy man.
Where's Flynn?
In the Great Hall.
He starts to head towards the Great Hall then.
And she moves forward to change out the water at the altar. So, Avayath, you are currently with Rue, who is standing on top of the edge of one of the crib, and is desperately reaching up and trying to get your baby, which is flying towards the ceiling right now. And she's just screaming, Philip, stop! Come back down! And she's like reaching as much as she can to try and grab him. And she looks over to you and she's like, he can't even crawl yet, but he can fly. He's too much like you.
Oh, sorry about that. Hold on, let me get him.
Avayath palms him like a basketball.
So wait, is he like floating above the crib?
He's like scaling the ceiling, like giggling.
He's heading towards the ceiling fan. Catch him now.
No, there's no ceiling fan.
Okay, so I can just levitate.
Flies into the ceiling fan and just...
No! This is the baby, shut up!
Also, it's Avayath's baby. The ceiling fan would be destroyed.
That's true.
You're right. I mean, like, you'd need a new ceiling fan.
Fucking buff-ass baby. Yeah, so he just levitates, grabs the baby gently, and brings Philip back down.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
It's much easier having Daddy here, she says, and kind of pulls your cheek.
Okay, sorry.
Well, I'm glad Mommy's here too. Now, Philip, don't...
Okay, sorry.
Don't go flying everywhere like that.
Sorry.
Good.
Limited baby voicing.
Yeah. Good. I hope you don't do that anymore. I'll go gather some breakfast. You go ahead and keep an eye on Philip if you don't mind.
Okay, could you come back soon, though? I feel like I've barely seen you, even though you've been here a whole week since you got back. Always pulled away to something.
On second thought, I think I'll stay here for a bit.
That's good to hear. You can have a brunch instead. Baby goes guagua. Goo goo guagua. I don't know why guagua came out of my mouth.
He gets the accent from his grandma.
Yeah, she's like bouncing him on one hip and looks to you and is just like, Avayath, we haven't really talked about it much just because you've been so busy. But I know that you still have missions that you have to go on. Be called away at any moment for one. But I also need to remind you now that you have a family. And she like raises one of Philip's hands to wave at you. You have to promise me you won't do anything too risky.
Of course. I won't dive headfirst into anything too dangerous. I'll play it safe, I promise.
These missions, I know they're important, but you weren't even here when he was born.
I know, and I'm sorry about that, but...
I just need you to consider us as well. I can't raise him on my own. And I've not been, honestly, feeling very well after he was born, so I could use all the help I can get.
Of course, I'm going to do what I can to make this world a better place, and when I feel accomplished, I will settle down. I've made that my goal, I promise.
She raises a hand and kind of gently puts it against your cheek, and she's like, the best place that the world could possibly be is one where you're still in it with me.
Yeah, I love you, Rue.
I love you too. And she gives you a quick kiss on the forehead as she jumps to reach in.
Yeah. Avayath will make it easier on Rue.
Yeah, lean down.
Duck down a little bit, yeah.
So just come back in one piece, okay? For whatever adventure you go on next.
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't be of very much use anyways if I were dead, so...
It's very true.
No point in throwing my life away.
And as you two are talking, you hear a knock on the door.
Yes, come in.
The door opens, and you see Flynn Larkspur here to bother you again, which he's been doing constantly. And he's just like, oh, am I interrupting something? Well, it's important, so I guess it must be done. And he just walks right in. I'm so sorry, but I need your husband, Miss Larkspur.
Rue.
Rue looks to you and gives you a tight smile, and it's just like, you have your duties.
I'll be back before you know it.
Back safely.
Of course.
She squeezes your hand.
Yeah, and he squeezes back.
Oh, so cute. Anyway, let's go to the Great Hall. No.
Right, of course.
Flynn takes you, Avayath, into the Great Hall, which you can see a probably impatiently waiting Abishu, who got there before you both. So, and when you approach Abishu in the Great Hall, Flynn's just like, perfect! So Elia must have gone and gotten you then. So I don't have to go gather everyone up for this.
Abishu, good to see you.
He doesn't respond.
Same as usual.
I imagine every time they like pass each other in like the kingdom or in the castle, Avayath's just like, hey, Abishu, and just silence, like every single time.
Good to see you too.
I love this back and forth we have going on. This little bit that we do where you don't answer. No,
We're best friends. That's just our dynamic.
No.
But he does actually say, good to see you too, as Abishu just doesn't reply.
So, I've called you both here because the king, before he left, bestowed another mission upon the both of you. Well, mostly on you, Avayath. He's asking you politely as always, Abishu. So there is an item that has recently come to our attention that he's been looking for quite a while. It's called the Olive Thorn. It's a legendary sword. Supposedly, it allows any spell cast through it to succeed, once per day, no matter what it is. But the item is cursed, so any use of it saps the life force of the wielder. But the legend has it, if a chosen one wields it, they can dismiss the curse placed upon it. So, we've kind of set something up. It's gonna sound a little crazy, but hear me out. So, I contacted Wolf and the Fallen One, the Poisoned Apple, recently, and they have agreed to assist with this, on the caveat that we let them go afterwards.
We let them go?
Are you serious?
No, we're faking it. We're lying.
No, not that, not that. You want me to play fetch for the king?
Weren't you told that you had a mission to go on?
I thought the mission was going to be relieving some stress by killing the poisoned apple and the other one.
That's going to happen at the end, but we need them to cooperate.
That, I'm sorry, seems a bit dishonorable.
This is an item that is incredibly important to the kingdom, Avayath. Thousands of lives could be saved with a spell that is surefire to work when you cast it.
Right.
And if they're going to die anyway, they might as well do some good before they die, right? Think of it like you're redeeming them before you cut their heads off.
That's... well, I mean, I guess if it's good for the good of the kingdom, I'll do it. I trust his judgment.
We've already lost many lives sending people after this item. We sent the best mercenary in the kingdom, and no avail, they never returned.
I guess there is no other way, really.
That's right. There's no other way.
And it's not like we can let the plague bringer and the poison apple go, either.
Yes, they have to die. He nods.
Right.
But, like I said, you will have plenty of time to blow off some steam, Abishu. It's not going to take you very long. I already prepared another teleportation orb for you two to use. It has 3 charges. One to get you to Theo and Wolf, and the other to get you to the temple the item is located at. And then, of course, one more to get back home. You can drop them off wherever. As long as you bring something to show back that they're dead, of course.
Ibishu is just glaring at Flynn.
The king has promised to get you whatever you want, Ibishu. Anything in the world, you know he'll get it.
He sighs. You just like, give me the orb.
He extends a hand out for you to take it.
He reaches for the orb, takes it. I don't like you, Flynn.
That's fine. You don't have to like me. You just have to work with me.
He stares at him just a bit longer and then backs off a little bit.
Flynn has a smile that's like, I don't like you either, but I can't say that out loud. So.
When do we leave?
As soon as you would like. They were told that you'd be there in 24 hours, which should be any time around now.
As Flynn was speaking, he was like, within 24 hours, Ibishu would have already started like turning to leave. Avayath, we're going now.
Alright. Ibishu, you should, try to be more polite when meeting with other people. Gotta work alongside Flynn after all.
Are you trying to give me advice?
Perhaps.
I don't need it.
Understood. Just a warning, you might lose followers.
And I don't need your warning.
Okay then.
I'll play nice.
Good to hear it. That's all I need to know.
All right. And you two, teleport away.
Thanks for listening to the first episode of our new season. We're starting off with our announcements before Patreon shoutouts for this season. This is your first announcement, and trust me, you won't want to be skipping over them. We have a new release schedule this season, and we'll be releasing at 1 p.m. CST every other Sunday, except for this first arc, which we'll be releasing weekly for about the next month-ish. We'll let you know in the outro when we change it to bi-weekly. There are a lot of reasons for this change, but the main one is this show is simply a lot of work to keep up with and play at the same time. And as it currently stands, it's just a hobby for us, and we have to treat it like one. We thank you for your patience and understanding, and hope that the extra episodes at the start of this season will make this transition easier. We'll be doing our best to release extra episodes during heightened moments of this season, but the expectation after the first arc should be every other week. That's all for this announcement, but there are plenty more ahead. And now for our Patreon shoutouts. Thank you to our high-tier patrons, Spirit, Bigreddog, Keilan, Bubby, Dion, Miranda, Zab, Arkeus, Druid, Charles, and Mr. Bakudan. If you haven't already, make sure to like the episode and leave a comment. We'll see you soon. We've missed you, Sparks. Enjoy the new ending credits.